I unenrolled my godson from the swim lessons I'd been quietly funding since spring. The week his mother told the instructor I was just trying to buy affection. So, some context. My best friend Renata and I have been close since college. She had her son Marcus when he was about 3 years old, and I've been his godmother since he was baptized. I genuinely love that kid. He's 7 now, curious about everything. A little dramatic, which honestly tracks because so is Renata, but sweet in the way kids are when they actually feel safe. Last spring, Marcus mentioned he wanted to learn to swim. We were at my place, and he was watching something on TV where there was a pool, and he just goes, "I don't know how to do that." Just matter of fact, a little sad about it. I told him we could fix that. I didn't make a big announcement to Renata. I just found a Saturday morning class at the rec center. Asked her if Saturdays worked. She said yes, and I started paying for it. The sessions ran about $65 a month. Not a lot of money, but Renata had been stretched thin since switching jobs, and it didn't feel like the kind of thing I needed to turn into a whole conversation. Marcus was excited. That was enough. This went on for about 4 months. I'd pick him up maybe twice a month when Renata had shifts, and on the weeks I couldn't make it, she'd take him herself. He was getting genuinely good. His instructor, a college-age guy named Drew, said Marcus had no fear of the water, which apparently is not always the case with kids who start late. I'd watch through the window sometimes, and Marcus would wave at me with this huge grin every single time he surfaced. About a week and a half ago, I stopped by the rec center to prepay for the next session. Drew was at the desk, and he seemed a little off. I asked if everything was okay, and after a second he said yeah, just his mom came in last week and said some things that were kind of unexpected. I asked what she said. He looked uncomfortable, but he told me. Renata had apparently come in to ask whether the instructor thought Marcus was attached in a healthy way to me. She told Drew that I didn't have kids of my own, that I was going through something, and that the lessons were probably my way of trying to buy Marcus's affection, because I had no one else. She said she wasn't sure the dynamic was good for him, and wanted Drew's professional opinion on whether Marcus seemed confused about what I was to him. Drew said he told her Marcus just seemed like a kid who liked swimming and liked his godmother coming to watch. He didn't really engage with the rest of it. I stood there at that desk for probably 30 seconds not saying anything. I thanked Drew and drove home. I didn't call Renata. I didn't text her. I just sat with it for a few days, and the more I sat with it, the angrier I got, not in a loud way, just that cold kind of angry, where everything gets very clear. The following Thursday, I went back to the rec center and formally withdrew Marcus from the Saturday sessions. I gave 2 weeks notice so they could fill the spot. Drew asked if everything was okay. I said yes and thanked him again. Renata called me on Friday evening. I didn't pick up. She texted maybe an hour later. Drew told me you dropped Marcus from the class? What's going on? I waited until Saturday morning to respond. I kept it short. I said I'd heard what she told Drew, and I wasn't going to keep paying for something she'd characterized as manipulation. She called immediately. I answered that time. It wasn't, I was just worried. She said, "You've been so intense about him lately," and I was trying to understand it. I said, "Intense how?" She said, "You're always just there. Every week." I said, "I'm his godmother. That's what I'm supposed to be." She said I could have just talked to her if I had a problem with how things were going. I told her I didn't have a problem. She had a problem, and she took it to his swim instructor instead of me, which told me everything about what she actually thought. She said pulling him from the class was punishing Marcus for something that wasn't his fault. I said, "I know. I'm sorry about that part." She went quiet for a second and then said, "So why did you?" And I said, "Because I'm not going to quietly fund something while you tell people I'm doing it to fill a void in my sad little life." She said she never said sad. I said, "No, you said going through something." Same difference, Renata. She hung up. That was 6 days ago. She hasn't called since, and neither have I. Marcus starts asking about swimming lessons in August when school gets out.